Have you ever wondered, where did the very first water on Earth come from? How did our oceans form on a planet that was once a ball of molten rock, lava, and fire? About 4.6 billion years ago, Earth was extreme. Volcanoes erupted constantly, meteors crashed from space, and the atmosphere was full of toxic gases. There was no rain, no oceans, and no life. So how did this fiery world turn into the blue planet we know today, covered with vast oceans and full of life? As Earth slowly cooled, the outer layer hardened to form the first crust. Lava still flowed in many areas, but low-lying basins and depressions began to appear. These basins were essential because they would later collect water. Some early land fragments, called cratons, floated on molten magma, forming the first primitive continents. Without this cooling and hard crust, water could not stay on the surface. It would just evaporate into the hot atmosphere. You might be asking, where did Earth's first water actually come from? The answer is a combination of three sources. Volcanic outgassing. Volcanoes released huge amounts of water vapor into the atmosphere. As it cooled, the vapor condensed and fell as rain. Over millions of years, this rainfall slowly filled the basins, forming the first oceans. Icy asteroids and comets. Water also came from space. Asteroids and comets containing ice collided with early Earth, adding water to the surface. Chemical reactions in rocks. Tiny amounts of water formed deep inside Earth through chemical reactions. These H2O molecules eventually made their way to the surface. Together, these processes created the oceans we see today. Earth's oceans were a gift from both our planet and the stars. Once water started to accumulate, the first oceans formed. These early oceans were very different from what we see today, slightly acidic and rich in dissolved minerals like sodium, calcium, and magnesium. The mineral-rich water acted like a giant chemical laboratory. These minerals and chemicals helped create the building blocks of life: amino acids, proteins, and other essential molecules. Heavy rainfall continued for thousands of years, and slowly the ocean stabilized. Gravity kept the water in place, and the temperature allowed it to remain liquid rather than evaporate. The first oceans were hostile, but full of potential. They were acidic, rich in minerals, and contained small amounts of ammonia and methane. This chemical mixture is called the primordial soup, the perfect environment for life to begin. Over millions of years, the combination of water, minerals, and energy from sunlight and lightning helped form the first living organisms. Life began in the oceans about 3.5 to 4 billion years ago. Single-celled organisms, tiny prokaryotic cells. Similar to bacteria, were the very first forms of life. Photosynthetic life, cyanobacteria, appeared later. These organisms could produce oxygen through photosynthesis. Slowly, they started changing the atmosphere, adding oxygen that would allow more complex life to evolve. Eukaryotic cells, around 2 billion years ago, more complex single-celled organisms with nuclei evolved. This set the stage for multicellular life. Algae and early plants. Simple algae formed underwater ecosystems, producing oxygen and stabilizing the oceans. All life on Earth started in these oceans. Without oceans, life as we know it would never exist. Oceans are more than water. They regulate Earth's climate, provide habitats for all life, and contain minerals that are essential for chemical reactions. They also act as a carbon sink, balancing our atmosphere. The first oceans were the cradles of life. Without them, there would be no plants, animals, or humans today. Earth's oceans are over 4 billion years old. Early oceans were toxic, acidic, and dangerous, but full of possibilities. Life began in oceans long before the land became habitable. Tiny organisms in oceans eventually led to all plants, animals, and humans. Next time, we'll explore how life moved from the oceans to the land, and how the first plants and animals began to conquer our planet. Stay tuned.